Welcome back! It's been a while since the last time we told you what your main in Rainbow Six Siege said about you, and since then all of year 3 has gone by and now we're in year 4, which means we have 10 new operators to unpack and discuss. Let's get into it. Year 3 started with Operation Chimera, the first operation to drop an event with it, the Zombie Infestation Mode Outbreak. It was also the first operation to have all of its DLC operators be attackers. It was a bad time to be a defender, so let us revel in their despair. Lion is known for two things: loving to boost the base and being broken in the Pro League. If you main Lion, you're probably very social. Maybe you play with a group of friends who you can coordinate with. Together you can make the most use of his motion sensor to lock your enemies in place or have them suffer the consequences. If not, then at the very least you probably have a mic that shows off your stellar communication skills. With the right timing, prep, and communication, you are a serious asset to your team and a strong team player. If you don't communicate, then you're probably a player with dreams of grandeur. You gravitated towards Lion once you heard he was banned from the Pro League, hoping to maybe emulate that Pro League life. But just like the lions of the savannah, you need your pride to back you up. And I don't just mean ego. You need communication. Don't worry, you'll get there someday, maybe. After all, every lion starts as a cub. In real life, you want to have your presence be known. With the simple push of a button, you're affecting the entire game after all, and you want to have that effect on every room you're in real life. Whether telling a funny joke, a cool story, or just referencing a quotable meme, you want to be seen. Just like Lion though, it may have caused you to be banned a lot, so watch out. If you main Finka, there's a few different molds you may fit. Maybe you wanted to play a support operator on attack, don't mind sharing the glory of the win, or just don't like recoil. Perhaps you dream of one day really spooking a Cav player when you revive a downed teammate from across the map. Finka can be a great asset to any team. Giving temporary hit points can reduce a lethal gunshot into a flesh wound. So you may just be looking for a different kind of assist that only Doc and Finka can provide. You know you aren't the top killer, but you want to contribute. And for that, we salute you. In real life, you're a team player. You like boosting others from the backline, whether you're trying to be the ultimate wingman or giving out advice. You want to see your allies succeed with a little help from you. And if they do, it kind of feels almost like you got some points for their win. Just like how Finka gets adrenal boost assist points, you get good vibe points. Not really a scoreboard you can check all the time, but like, you feel it, you know, deep down. In the spring, we got Operation Parabellum, along with two defense characters in the form of Alibi and Maestro to balance out the roster. And these two basically gave us the ability to with our opponents something fierce, especially with Alibi. Her kit was made to mess with your opponent's heads. You can use your passive so you and your allies can do runouts, play House of Mirrors like a serial killer, or simply scare the shit out of attackers breaking down a barricade with a well-placed Prisma. If you main Alibi, you love the mind games. You know how a player's mind works, and you have fun exploiting that. It may not be the most effective strategy, but you aren't looking for smart. You're looking for fun. In many ways, you are a troll. Even if you can't hear your opponents scream in frustration or watch them jump in surprise, you can practically hear their shocked cries when they get tagged by a decoy, and that fills you with glee. You sick f***. If you're an Alibi main, you like pranking people, whether it's setting someone up to say the setup of your joke or manipulating someone into admitting they know something. For you, there is no trick or treat. Your treat is the trick. You pick up on habits, patterns, and trends by thinking outside the box. Looking at things from a different perspective can make you an excellent joker, but also really good at marketing and sales. So take a look into those careers. If you play Maestro now, you probably poked your sibling in the car on long rides when you were younger. Heck, maybe you still do. Maestro's Evil Eye is by no means a deadly weapon in the early game, but if you're in the right position, you can be so damn annoying. Similar to Alibi mains, you might be a troll if you main Maestro. Although while Alibi mains play mind games, you just play poke the tiger until Ash uses a breaching charge to tell you stop. You might also enjoy peeking in on parties you're not a part of because you want to keep up with what's going on, typically through your phone. You might also main Maestro if you want to play on defense and you really don't want to reload. Maestro is the first defense character to get an LMG, and you can get a big smile on your face when you see your enemy having to go through their entire slow reload animation. Meanwhile, you haven't even shown off a fraction of your firepower yet. At the end of the summer of 2018, as the warm weather slowly started to disappear, Ubisoft reminded us that autumn is on the way with Operation Grim Sky, just to shout surprise at all of us. Shields were no longer solely for attackers, and breaching no longer always came with a big bang. If you main Clash, you are probably a tank main in games like Overwatch or World of Warcraft. You don't mind going slow and steady or a lack of firepower in exchange for high defense and crowd control. You enjoy the fact that one side of you is immune to bullets at all times. Maybe you play shield operators on attack, but you might also play other operators that can affect the flow of the match, like Lion, Ying, or the newest attacker, Gridlock. You prefer feeling like you're in control of how the match is gonna go, or at the very least telling attackers, not this way. You main Clash because while you got that shield up, you don't need to deal with aiming or worry about peekers. You can just hold fast and wait for the right time. Slow and steady wins the race after all. You might also play Clash because you really enjoy hearing British insults being yelled at you and or your teammates. Don't worry, you don't have to admit to that one. Your secret's safe with us, you filthy muppet. On the opposite end, if you main Maverick, you probably play roguish characters in games. You appreciate the stealth characters and enjoy surprising your opponents. Nothing feels better than stabbing an opponent in the back, or in Mav's case, shooting someone in the bum. His blowtorch also allows you to bring out your more creative side. And no, I don't just mean drawing phallic symbols on the walls. We've all done that. You aren't special. I mean your attack angles. Maybe you've played Thermite or Hibana before, and you know that creating an angle can turn a match around, but they didn't allow you the freedom of shape or size. With the right peephole, you know how to make an entire bunkered up room feel unsafe. You're probably the kind of person who enjoys people watching on public transportation or in restaurants. You like catching people in those moments when they don't think anyone's looking at them because you feel that's when you're seeing the true them. Except in real life, when you get noticed, you just have to awkwardly avoid eye contact and maybe sit in a different coffee shop forever now. In Siege, that exchange gets much more deadly, especially if it's a Cav who catches you outside on your own. To wrap up year 3, we got another season with 2 trap operators in Operation Wind Bastion. Except one of them didn't really get a trap, but more of a defensive utility gadget, and the other was an attacker. Wait, what? Speaking of Cav, you probably main Nomad if you got tired of being roamed on. The first trap operator on attack, Nomad probably appealed to you as a means to pacify flankers, or at least embarrass them for trying. You have confidence in your teammates' ability to carry their own weight in a firefight, and your own ability to deal out damage when the cards are down, because you don't really have an offensive ability. You just need someone or something to watch your backside, and your air jabs are just the thing. Shoot them off and forget them. You focus on moving forward and taking the objective while Cav has to awkwardly rush back to her own objective, all the while getting knocked over by your traps like a Looney Tune character. You probably play a roamer on defense or have been repeatedly taken out by them because you know their tricks, their routes, and their likely hiding spots. You enjoy turning the tables. You enjoy telling the hunter that they are now the hunted. In real life, you're not one for honor. You'll take any advantage you can, no matter how dirty. You don't care if your opponent is, say, knocked prone on the ground, unable to use their weapon. No. You know artificial constructs like honor will only get you so far. You know that to achieve your goals, you need to take advantage of an opportunity without hesitation. Kaid is your main for the player with the beard, whether it's on the inside or the outside. If you main Kaid, you probably have a ton of hours on Bandit too, because in many ways, he's Bandit 2.0. You know what walls are the most necessary to super reinforce, but you also have the creativity and problem-solving skills to know how to get the most bang for your buck. You probably hate Thatchers, and you probably hated Mav when he first came out in the previous season, but Kaid gave you your revenge, allowing you to hide your claws in cheeky hiding places. You probably play Kaid because it reminds you of the golden days. The golden days, for you at least, back when Bandit's MP7 could equip an ACOG, placing batteries then peeking windows, but just a tad slower now. Nothing works quite like you want it to when you get to Kaid's age. You're the kind of person who gets insurance in real life. I mean, we all have to get insurance for the most part, but you seek out insurance because you plan for the worst. You don't know if the enemy team will have a Hibana or Mav, but why take the risk? You plan for the worst possible outcome, so you'll never be disappointed. Catching up on the newest operators in Year 4, Season 1, everything we knew was turned on its head in the land down under with Operation Burnt Horizon. The trap operator once again turned out on the attacker side and had 3 armor, while the small boy with the even smaller hitbox turned out to be a defender. It's crazy down there. I imagine a lot of aspiring Mozzie mains were excited to get a weaponized slingshot, but got disappointed when they found out it was just used to fire his gadget. If you main Mozzie, you enjoy stealing the enemy's toys, not just denying them or destroying them, but straight up taking them away. Like the youngest child storming into their sibling's room and declaring the toy chest is mine. I mean, Mozzie's got the hitbox to match, right? His pests are downright terrifying to watch, or maybe that's my arachnophobia acting up, but you get an excellent opportunity to do nothing if you found yourself a nice corner to hide in. You know that sometimes getting intel is the most important part of a round, and denying the enemy that intel in the same blow is even better. If you main Mr. Steal Your Drone, you are a risk taker. Maybe you're a gambler. Maestro and Valkyrie can both place cameras, and Mute can place jammers to block drones, but Mozzie can do both. It just involves the enemy team falling into his trap. The ability to move your cameras around is a huge advantage, but if you wanted that, you could simply play Echo and also get some added bonuses. No. Mozzie mains are looking for a high-risk, high-reward payoff that both gives them an advantage and their opponent a disadvantage in one move. You shoot for the moon, because if you pull it off, you'll be calling the people who thought you were crazy just a bunch of non-believers. As a Gridlock main, you really don't like roamers. You feel best knowing you've placed a virtual pile of Legos behind you. Any defender stupid enough to sneak up on you will have to deal with it. You enjoy the moments when you, as an attacker, get to play defensively. When getting into the objective is the easy part, your team is going to be grateful you brought your kegs to make a mess. You don't mind going slow and steady. You prefer firepower over speedy tricks and smaller hitboxes. You aren't the first to go in like an Ashe main, but you also aren't waiting for the perfect angle like Glass, or like how Ubisoft hoped Glass would be played. You push in and force an enemy to act. Deal with me or deal with my spikes. In real life, you really don't like being snuck up on. If you had the choice of someone walking up to you, gun out, demanding all the money in your wallet, or someone popping up behind you, saying boo, and tickling you, you'd be asking the mugger if they also wanted your gift cards too. And that's all of our operators so far. I know we only recently got Mozzie and Gridlock, but I cannot wait to see the upcoming American and Danish operators. We may get to see the Rainbow Six Siege community change as a whole once again, as it kind of feels like it does every time a new operator comes out. Once again, I'm your host Alpha Lance with the Leaderboard, and if you enjoyed this, check out our past Rainbow Six Siege videos on who's your main. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the Leaderboard, your home for video game facts.